What is one piece of career advice you wish someone had given you when you were starting out?
Well, I think the one piece of advice actually somebody did try and give me. So I had a mentor who tried to give me this piece of advice, but I was in such a hurry that I didn't really take it on board. So my advice is don't be in a hurry. Take the time, particularly when you're early in career, to consider the things that really matter to you. And I know that, if you're a student or you're a young person, then often kind of financial criteria come quite close to the top of that list. But actually, your career's a marathon, not a sprint. And so, really taking the time to reflect on what is the difference that you want to make in the world. What are the values? What are the things that actually really, really are important to you is so important when you're thinking about, your early career. And if I can squeeze in a second, which I know is a bit cheeky, I think I didn't ask for help enough. Early in career, and I probably still don't actually. There's always room to ask people for help. People love to be asked. People, enjoy the opportunity to help shape others, to shape their thinking. So I think that that's another thing I wish I had done more of earlier in my career.
Can you share a pivotal moment in your career journey that made a significant impact?
So I've actually just had a pivotal moment in my career journey. So I've recently made a big shift from a very large organisation to a small organisation. The impact of that, is still playing out really, very early days. But earlier on in my career, I did do a job share, actually, which happened after I'd had my third child. I had a colleague who was working in a neighbouring team who also had a baby, and it was part of a sales team. And so it was very important to have that kind of presence across the week. And so we were able to collaborate together. We had a successful job share for a couple of years. What was very interesting was that we brought very complementary skills and capabilities. So I'm sure my former job share buddy will laugh when she perhaps hears this. She was always very direct. I'm a little bit more of a kind of a diplomat, I suppose. So we had quite complementary skill set. We also had complementary skills in terms of our kind of career history. And so I think I really realised at that point that, the sum of the two parts was greater than the whole, or whatever that expression is. We really were able to do so much more because we were, the fusion of I suppose two powerhouses. We were both at a similar stage in our career and in our family lives, and that really helped me to kind of reignite my career after having had my family.
How do you approach challenges, and what setbacks in your professional life, and what is your go-to strategy for overcoming them?
It is hard not to take things personally. And, to be honest, I think for many of us, that's a day-to-day challenge. I imagine you perhaps hear that one quite a lot. Particularly large organisations, often have changes in strategy, and those naturally have an impact on, individual lives within an organisation. And it's hard not to take things personally, but very often, you're just the latest victim, I suppose, of some change that's really not got a great deal to do with you as an individual. So it's not easy to do, but it's important to take a couple of steps back. If you get some feedback that you perhaps don't agree with, or that touches you personally, or there's some big change that impacts you, take a couple of steps back, try not to take it personally, and understand the broader narrative that's probably driven either the feedback or the change that you've experienced. There's usually another story going on, and it tends not to be the story about the individual or you as a person. I do think those moments provide a really good opportunity to, once the dust has settled, to refocus and get back to the values that I mentioned in my first response. Really, what really matters to you. When you hang up your working boots in your, 60s or probably 70s for some of the generations to come. Sorry about that. What is it that you want to leave behind, as your legacy? And I think if you can kind of reframe some of these challenges and think, okay, well, what is it that I want to have achieved when my career is done and dusted? Really trying to put things in perspective. Is important, and for me that's about the legacy, but I think it's also about kind of refocusing on on what really matters. And it sounds like a cliche and it sounds very twee, but your family and friends will be at your funeral, not your previous boss probably. So they're the ones who really need to be prioritized.